use the term mind-body often on this channel, but being able to integrate that concept into our daily lives can sometimes be a little confusing. The One Research Foundation funds studies that help us understand how the mind and body are connected. When we experience an emotion, how do we relate to the feeling? Dr. Candace Pert discovered that emotions are actually molecules present in our physiology. But do we still classify emotions as something simply in our mind?
Because the mind and the body are actually one system, when the system is traumatized, it's not my arm that's traumatized, okay? The entire system is traumatized and it resonates through the whole system. Up until now, the mind professions have been looking at it from this direction, at the same thing, looking at it through their lens, and the body professions have been looking at it this way through their lens. And the whole deal is it is the whole, and it really is both lenses. And you can use either lens and you can get to the other aspect. And that's all we're trying to communicate here, is that you can't separate that. When we talk about mind-body, the dysfunction of mind-body in some ways can be looked at as the word trauma. And it can be the bridge in the encapsulation of that whole experience.
Trauma is something we can all agree exists because there is a psychological and a physiological property to it. And we're all trying to treat it best we can, especially post-pandemic. So much trauma has come up. So many people are experiencing different versions of that in addition to whatever pre-existing trauma they may have had. So I think we're all in agreement that it exists and we all are approaching from different ways, and yet I would acknowledge as somebody who works with mental health, that while it is affecting their mental health, I'm also undeniably noticing that it's affecting their physical health. And while that may not be under my licensure, I am aware that it's affecting their physical health. I'm treating their mental health. And so I'm acutely aware of this inverse relationship. And I would say that's what I'm noticing with trauma.
And the extraordinary thing is, this has been missing, okay? That rupture that happened in the mind-body in terms of the cognitive understanding has been gone for 25 generations.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, and so there's not really a cultural memory left of that.
Yeah.
There isn't even anything in language, in the semantics that unifies mind and body. We have to say mind body.
Right.
It's just saying those words out loud maintain that separation. We have no unified term for it. The closest we come is
Organism.
Right.
So let's dig into that a little deeper. When someone experiences anxiety, is that a matter of mental health? Or is it revealing information about our physiology? Or is it both? In Dr. Peter Bablis's recent study, patients with chronic low back pain were treated only with NET and were not given any kind of physical rehabilitation. By addressing the patient's emotions, their low back pain significantly improved. There was also an improvement in their inflammatory markers, which reduces the risk of life-threatening conditions like heart disease and stroke. If our emotional states are linked to both our physical and mental health, that would indicate that labeling any condition as strictly physical or psychological would be ignoring a key component in unlocking our body's ability to heal.
In this world, we think about low back pain as a physical issue. And we think about PTSD as, well, that's more of a mental issue or a mental health issue. PTSD certainly has very physical manifestations and physicality. And low back pain has very clear emotional ramifications. Just like on a more everyday level for the everyday person, you walk around with a pebble in your shoe and it's gonna make you pretty cranky every day. So what's the pebble in the shoe? Just like if we're constantly worried, right? Worried, we think about it as a more mind-oriented ailment or concern. We're constantly worried or we have constant anxiety. Well, for years, there's been an association with, okay, you could develop an ulcer. Your biochemistry, your physiology is changing around that concern.
Stress can cause inflammation. Most diseases, most conditions, whether it's physical pain A lot of physical pain is inflammatory. All the leading killers, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, those are all degenerative diseases, inflammatory diseases at their core, their root. And again, through a lot of the research that we have published, including our low back pain that looked at inflammatory markers, we find out that unresolved stress patterns, emotions are meant to be felt and expressed. That's the flow of the energy and the feelings. And when we're under stress, the emotions stop flowing, they get stuck inside, and they contribute to that inflammatory disease.
If I'm stuck in a certain emotional response to someone, then that's all I can feel. And I'm locked into something that comes probably from my history. So it's more about me than about them. And once I take care of that piece, it releases that from my system, and my system now has choice. It has the choice to be fully itself and not locked off, not isolated, not angry with myself about something or whatever it was. It could be 100 different things. That's not the important thing. The important thing is if I can go ahead and experience that sense of release in this relationship, then it frees me up.
If you look at Pavlovian conditioning, people got conditioned in many different ways to do things that they may not remember that they were conditioned to do. And so they're repeating something, and they're repeating a response to an experience. They're repeating a pattern of behavior again and again and again for so long, and changing it slightly each time, that they no longer will connect or remember an original event. That original conditioning event is what we're able to go back to with NET. That's what's mind-blowing, is we're able to basically go in and take a little knotted necklace and pull at it, and then be able to identify, there's the knot, and voila, the whole necklace can function again.
But it's getting the message out there that trauma, even trauma of the mind, is trauma that affects the body.
Physical trauma, emotional trauma,
Yeah.
it's all, that's where we intersect. And
That's the piece that's
That's
missing.
the piece that's missing. And I'm actually getting in this conversation that this is actually part of what our purpose is being custodians of that integrity.
And
you
so
know, the
maybe that
mind-body
could
connection.
be something in our docket for going forward for research is, where does that fit on either physical or mental trauma for our research?
In my clinic, I also use cerebellar testing. Part of what the cerebellum does is it helps us to live, breathe, move better in gravity in our daily life. So if we're improving cerebellum, essentially balance, it literally does balance. It literally tells us how to take that next step when we're climbing the staircase. So we can look literally at that and say, okay, we're ensuring balance, and especially with an aging population, or a population, all of us, who have things coming at us more and more and more at a fast pace, we're navigating, we're able to be more sure-footed, more nimble in that world, quite literally. But if we're looking metaphorically at that, what we're doing on the big picture is we're creating a more balanced humanity. We're creating a more balanced picture of the world. We're creating people who can literally, through cerebellar function, move into the world, move through their lives and all the people they touch, being more centered, more balanced, more able to be sure-footed and to be integrated within themselves, mind and body.
One's ongoing research continues to widen our understanding of the human person. The more we open up this conversation around the mind-body connection, the more we can improve our language and our relationship with this exciting topic. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media.